What's up, everybody? I am BK, bkbangers.com. Welcome to another video. Today's video, I want to go over the Elastique Pro and the warping functions in the MPC 2.0. We're currently on the 2.2 update, well, 2.2.1 to be all the way clear, right? I want to go over this function mainly because I myself sometimes have to remember to put certain things in, such as the BPM, and to be certain that it's on Elastique Pro. Okay, what is Elastique Pro? Elastique Pro is a time stretch mechanism or algorithm, and when you put in a sample, whether you chop it or you put it in a loop in the new audio function in the software, when it's not on Elastique Pro, whenever you put the warp function on, it tends to be warbly, or you could hear it like fighting to actually stretch. I'm gonna show you guys an example shortly, but that's pretty much what today's video is about. So I'm gonna get right to it. I currently have a beat, well, a drum loop going. I thought I did. Where is that? So that's a little drum loop that I got going. I'm gonna drag in this this audio file. Now you could, whoa, oh, I had it on the eraser tool. Now when you drag it in, it automatically warps, right? You could take off the automatic warp if you don't want that to be automatic. I think it's most beneficial for it to be automatic, right? So we're right here, audio warp and BPM detect. Whenever you drag in an audio file, audio tracks auto warp is set to on. For me, for you it might not be. I think it's best when it's on because you already know what you're working with, but if you want to set it to off, you can do that as well. Now, the audio warp algorithm, Elastique Pro, best sound, that is, like it says, the best sound to have it on, the best setting to have it on when you're working with samples and chopping samples. I'm gonna give you an instance of it on set to Elastique Pro best sound, and then I'll go to the MPC least CPU intensive. Now they say that the Elastique Pro is CPU intensive, but I don't see that, mainly because I have my setup is a little bit maxed out to capacity as far as RAM, and I have a terabyte solid state drive, so I don't really get that CPU problem. The only time I have issues is when I'm doing screen captures and tutorials such as this one. But I'm gonna play the sample for you at its best quality. So that's at its best sound. So this is at its least, the MPC algorithm, and it's the least CPU intensive. And I'm gonna play that for you. Now you can hear that warbliness. Like sometimes we go for that sound, and we use plugins to get that sound. So it's kind of cool to not have to use an additional plugin to get that sound if that's the kind of sound you're using or you're going for. But you don't want to, you want to keep it the way that it was intended to be played. When you sample and you get a sample, when you're on a vinyl, you're on a turntable, you can pitch it up or you can speed it up. And although you make it faster by speed, it still maintains the regular sound. Like if you slow it down, it still maintains the sound. If you're playing on a turntable, for you DJs, you know what I'm talking about. So it's best to have it on Elastic Pro. Now you can put it on Elastic Efficient or Elastic Mobile. I've tested them out, and for me, Elastic Pro is best. So I always have it on Elastic Pro. There was a situation where for a couple weeks, it was after that last update, the MPC, I think it was a 2.1 update. It changed it to MPC least CPU, and I don't know why it did that, but I was having hiccups. Like when I was trying to calculate the BPM, it wasn't calculating it, and it was a bunch of extra stuff that I was starting to get upset with Akai, because I'm like, yo, why is this, why it works like this? You might have heard me mention it in videos before where I say that Studio One and Serato Sample has the best time stretch algorithm. This is because it's true. Besides Cubase, Pro Tools, Studio One is up there with Elastic Pro time stretch algorithm. And now we have it in the MPC software, so that's a plus. So you might as well utilize it if it's there. This is what the pros are using. Okay, so when you drag and you drop it into the audio field right here, it automatically warps it, right? And you could take off the warp. Now, in order for the function to work correctly, you have to know what the BPM is of the sample that you're using. So when you go to sample edit, right here, it shows you, it automatically calculates the BPMs for you. Sometimes it's on point. When it's on Elastic Pro, 9 out of 10 times, if it's a direct chop, like if it's a 1 bar, 2 bar chop, it automatically detects it. If it's a little bit off, like there's a tail, or if it's 2.5 bars, it'll calculate it wrong. And the workaround for me, which what I do, right here, you have the timestamp, the samples, and the beats. I usually set it to the beats so I can know how many bars it is. Now, it says 73.07. So if I calculate this at 73.07, it changes it to an 8-bar loop, right? So it changes it to an 8-bar loop. And because it's in double time, it changes it to 16 bars. So you won't actually hear the main difference in sample edit mode, but when you go into either you're chopping it or if you go into the audio section, you'll hear the difference, because this in sample edit is working with the actual BPM that the current sample holds, right? So the other way that you can calculate the BPM, I showed it in other videos, is you can go from beats. So you could calculate from BPMs, and then right here, it's currently set to, it automatically opens up at 8 beats because it thinks that you're doing everything at a 2-bar interval. So, and what I mean by 2-bar or 8 beats is that in 1 bar, every bar has 4 beats or 4 ticks, right? So 8 beats would be 2 bars, and 1 bar is 8, 2 bar is 1 bar is 4, 2 bars 8. So it was 8, so it's 16, right? So it's 16 beats in here. You see here that it says BPM 20. right? So if I change it to 16 beats, it changes it to 36.67. No, that's wrong. So 8 times 4. So 8 times 4 is 36, right? So you type in 36 and it's saying that it's 82.29. So that might be what the actual BPM is, and the MPC calculated it at 70, what it was, 70 at 73.07, right? The other way that you could do it is detect. You could press detect BPM and you could tap detect and it detects it at 73.07. You can also tap tempo it. I don't usually tap tempo it. I just either press detect and I work with it that way. All right, so now back to here in the live track. So if I take warp off, it stretches it to 16. Now that can be cool, right? We'll go to the drum beat and I'm gonna play it with the drums. So it's not terrible on if you take the warp off in this situation that I'm showing you guys. But if you put the warp on, it puts it in double time. Now I'm gonna play that with the beat. So that's cool. I'm gonna loop it at 8. So it's not terrible when it's looped up. The other thing that you can do is you can pitch it up or down, and it doesn't lose its sound, right? So I'm gonna pitch it up about 2. You see that I pitched it all the way up to +12 and all the way back down to -12. And although it sounded different, it didn't lose the groove of it. You want to maintain that groove, the intended groove. That's the reason why we sample. We sample the groove. We work with the groove of whatever it is that we're sampling, right? So that is Elastic Pro and the warping functions inside of the MPC 2.2.1 software. If you have any comments or concerns, be sure to leave that in the comment section. I will get back to you at my most earliest convenience. But that's pretty much it. I got a question on it, so I wanted to tackle that for the subscriber who asked that question. That's pretty much it with this with this area. Well, there's one other thing I want to show you, that you can actually reverse it also, right? So you can reverse it right from here. And you can also double time it or half time it. So if you times 2 it, it'll send it out to the 16 bar. And if you half time it, it'll bring it back to, you know, half of whatever it is naturally. Now you could get some cool little techniques by doing that, right? Now, when you get into the pressing the half and the times 2, it calculates it even at even numbers. It doesn't calculate it at the points. So we know that inside of sample edit, it tells us that it's 73.07, right? But when you get into the actual using these time 2 functions, it kind of throws it off a little bit, because it just working at even number increments, right? So it's best that if you know what it is, you type it in. Like if you want it to be double the time, you type it in. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I don't think there's anything else that I missed out on outside of actually chopping the sample. Now, I was working on this beat originally, and I thought about it because the question came across. So I said, let me showcase that. So I actually have a sample, the same sample chopped up. Right? So it works pretty much the same way. If you take, well, before I do that, you have to go to Program Edit, and you want to make sure that you're on all. In edit zones, you want to be certain that you're on all, because if you're not on all, and whichever pad is highlighted and you're on current, and you make the changes right here in the BPM, it'll only happen to that particular pad. So when you're in edit zones, you select all, and then you make the changes that way. So I'll take off warp, and as you can see, it changed. But I rather it to be locked in. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So that's pretty much it, y'all. Again, if there's any comments or questions, be sure to post it in the comment box. And that's pretty much it. So do remember that music is life. It is our DNA. Keep banging. Peace, love, light. Till next time. Peace.